Catus, Maximus here, this time with a review of the ThruNite TC20. They did send me this as a promotional item, and I do appreciate it. I've been collecting out these little high-power flashlights, and it's certainly better to get them for free rather than to pay for them. This light is pretty expendy at $70, and I don't know if they made a mistake, but there's two versions. There's a version 1 like this, which has the old USB micro, and a V2, which apparently is also brighter. This is 3800 lumens, the V2 is 4000. So I don't know if they made a mistake, but I'm going to have to review what they sent me, which is the V1. And for $70, we'll finish this unboxing. It does have a relatively decent manual. We'll take a quick look at a couple of the little stats in here. If we can, there we go. There's our technical parameters. Blah, 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 orange peel. Turbo, it says. For some reason it says that it'll actually last 2 hours on a full turbo mode, which is kind of interesting. A lot of lights won't do that, but for some reason this one they're actually rating the heat capacity that it'll just maintain that turbo mode. It won't automatically reduce the lumens as it overheats, and I think that's kind of interesting. I haven't seen something like that. Will last 37 days on the Firefly mode. Anyway, we get a few other things. They do have a decent kit in here. A little warning. We have a little charging cable. We have a lanyard in here. We also have extra O-rings, an extra button. Actually, something seems a little weird because I haven't seen an object like this. That may be a button diaphragm, but it's like for under this. So you have to figure out some way to remove that button to even replace it. They do include a little ring. I understand they use these metal rings to reduce the chances of the lanyard, this portion of the lanyard here, from getting too chafed on the little eyelet. And a couple extra O-rings. And a USB cover. And of course, finally in here we do have a little belt pouch for it. And the ThruNite's belt pouches have been, generally speaking, you know, they're not the best, but they're okay for something that's included with the product. Got that all cleaned up, got the lanyard on there. Anyway, we should look at the batteries, and I am going to compare this now this they had sent me, which is apparently the direct competition to the Sulfurn SP33. We can see the Sulfurn's a little bit longer, but the crux of this is the Sulfurn's a much better value for a variety of points. This has a hex, but it doesn't actually engage because of this round kind of heatsink portion, so it doesn't stop it from rolling, kind of like the Sulfurn does. Sulfurn has a stainless steel ring. This is an aluminum ring. Sulfurn has just far more intelligent operation. But let's take a quick look at the batteries. The Sulfurn doesn't have the ThruNite doesn't have an electronic lockout. They just kind of think you'll unscrew the case in order to get the battery to disconnect, which I don't really like. Another thing I should point out is that even though they do use a double spring on the back side, if we look down in here, they don't use a spring on the inside, where the Sulfurn actually uses springs on both sides. 5,000 milliamp hour. This is a protected cell, but once again, if we compare to the Sulfurn, this thing's like 45 or 50 bucks. 3,500 versus 3,800 lumens, but almost the same. The Sulfurn gives you a 5,500 milliamp hour battery, even though we can see that it is a unprotected cell. It's a little bit shorter, so it doesn't have the extra circuits, and you can just see this little cap here where those circuits are. And of course, the Sulfurn has a spring on both sides. Something nice I do like about this ThruNite is its aggressive knurling, but really, let me turn this off. It does have an orange peel, and it is coated. And I think because they're using a much broader LED is one of the reasons why this can maintain its output level. But if we do this turbo and then, come on Sulfurn, there we go, and then we do the Sulfurn is just a bit more balanced between throw and flood. This, if I can get this out of the way, that's about 2 feet off the table. And then there's the Sulfurn. Sulfurn just gives you a little bit more throw versus this ThruNite. Now, one of the issues I really don't like about the ThruNite is to access the strobe, you have to turn it on excuse me, you can't just turn it on and then double click into the strobe. That doesn't work. Turn that off. You actually have to double click on the turbo and then double click again to get the strobe, and it's just one constant frequency. Where the Sofern, even if you're turned off, you're turned on, regardless of what mode, all you have to do is triple click, and you can see that you have a dual rate strobe. So the strobe is better. One of the other things about the Sofern is it's variable. I can press and hold this and turn this up or down as I please. Well, on this ThruNite, you just press and hold, and it just goes through these stages, 3 stages: low, medium, high. And that's all you really get. So it has much simpler controls on it. So once again, I appreciate ThruNite sending me these promo flashlights. But they, your other Chinese competition, this uses micro USB. This is USB-C. I guess it's USB-C on the V2, but they should have sent me the V2 if wanted me to evaluate the newer model. But the Sofern just is a better product for a cheaper price. It's better built. It has much better electronics or much better controls on it. Bigger capacity battery. And we can see that it's just a little bit narrower, just a little bit easier to deal with in your pocket for $26,650. So anyway, let's go outside and we'll do some outdoor comparisons of both these lights. Now, these aren't designed for super ultra long throw like I have another ThruNite that does, such as a big lens like this ThruNite. This has super great throw. These would be more just general use, both great for having more than enough throw to really see where you want to be seeing, unless you're trying to see across a river or something like that, as well as providing flood. So they'd be great for actually searching for things or just hiking, that type of stuff. So I do kind of like these. Also, you probably notice that this is like a 2700K, where this is like a 3500K color temperature. So this is a little bit wider, and I actually kind of like that versus the old kind of tungsten color. So anyway, we'll take a look outside. All right, here we are with the ThruNite TC20, and I mean, I suppose it's okay. The camera, at least this camera, kind of enhances the light, but as compared to the Sofern, it's not even close. Let's do the Sofern now. If I can find the darn power button. It's actually kind of dark out here. Whoop. You can see that it lights up the trees. Just a little bit more focus, but with good flood too. And we'll go back to the TC20 here. If I can find the button. Kind of hard to find the buttons. Not quite as good. Let's see if I can't get them both going at the same time here. Don't have a tripod, don't have the hands to get them both working at the same time. So once again, here's the Sofern, and now the TC20. If I can get it untangled. You can see it's just not quite as intense. A little bit better, I guess, for searching, but it just has a lot less throw for not a whole lot of extra flood and on the wide beam angle. So there you have it. I appreciate ThruNite sending me a free flashlight, but this thing, if they want $70 for it, is just not worth it at all. It's unbelievable. It's the Sofern for $45 just basically crushes it. I think it has a better beam pattern, but it's smaller, more intelligent, USB-C, stainless steel ring. Just much better programming on it. Electronic lockout that's easy to use versus no electronic lockout on this. This does have a softer color. I guess the one thing going for the ThruNite is they do use a large LED element, which apparently allows them to balance the heat. This thing still gets pretty hot, but apparently it'll just deal with it and can run turbo mode for 2 hours. I'm sure the thing would be real hot after that. But at least as far as the V1 is concerned, the one that they sent me, just totally not worth it. The Sofern is actually pretty awesome. The ThruNite, not so much. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.